Oh man, that's not good. Okay. It's not gonna work. Huh? That's a little better. Not really. Okay, sit back. Uja, Uben Nefer. Oops, twist the camera around. Okay. Turn it down. It's nice when it's too warm, which is rare. Oh, let's see, how can I fix this? A little bit. Okay, this one. Oh, okay. I think it's these chairs. The chairs are too high. I think that's the problem. I think I'm going to fall off. Let me see about a different chair. This one's probably too low. I guess that's okay. At least I don't feel like I'm going to fall. That's good enough. Okay. Okay, yeah, that's a lot better. I don't feel like I'm going to fall. Trying a new setup here. Good Rising, Great Awakenings. Welcome to Good Rising TV. Today is Neterian Devotion on Thursdays, where we talk about having a Neterian practice and ways to become closer to the Neteru. And the objective of a Neterian practice is to transform yourself into a god or goddess, aka a cosmic force of nature. Let's see this light here. Okay. All right. My name is Tachia. I think I have it tilted too much forward. Okay. My name is Tachia, aka Reet, and I've been on a spiritual healing journey since 1980, 84, 85. And it's taken me through many different traditions and cultures. And I've done a bit of traveling, looking for more information. I began this journey as an astronomy graduate student at UT Austin. And I experienced a calamity and ended up on a spiritual journey. I had no idea about any of this at that time, and I'm learning to become grateful for the life that came as a result of the tragedy, and not trying to be grateful for the tragedy. That's what I've been working on, trying to hide my secrets. Here, it's just a backdrop. There we go. Okay, that's a lot better. So I began the journey as a Rasta woman, and then Black Hebrew Israelite, yogi, Turtle Island medicine women, Buddhism, Hindu traditions from India, Japanese Buddhism. And then Olmec, the Mayan tradition, the Quechua traditions. And then I finally ended up in Kemet, and recently have come into the acceptance of the awareness that there were Aboriginal people on every continent, aka Black people. I've stopped using the term Black to describe myself, and I'm using Aboriginal, and stopped using terms like Black Native or American Indian, because those places don't exist. However, we do know that there are Aboriginal people on every continent, and that transcends the definitions of the Western constructs. And so my research project began as a galactic astronomer at UT Austin, and then developed into cultural astronomy, studying the different cultures around the world that have the Milky Way at the center of their traditions and culture, and Sirius, they follow Sirius. And so I was doing a comparative study of these cultures. And when I was in Kemet last time, I was instructed by my spirit guides that now it's time to redirect my energy and focus to the traditions of a comparative analysis of the traditions of Kemet, which is in Egypt, and America, which is North, Central, and South America, this entire continent. And that will be the first step to, a big step in my objective of defeating Western imperialism through our love of nature. The Hopis have a prophecy about this time where the indigenous people of the four directions will come together and share the wisdom teachings, and we each have a piece of the teaching. And when we come together, we'll have the entire truth. So that is pretty much is my mission, I guess, and purpose. And so on Thursdays, we talk about the culture of the Netarians of ancient Kemet. On Tuesdays, we talk about the Tamarican traditions and comparing them to Kemet. Today, we're focusing on the spiritual practice. So I want to start off with some chants. Oh, there's a comment. What are we talking about today? I'm here. I'm new. Oh, okay. Yeah, so Good Rising TV. Tuesdays, we talk about Neterian practices of Tamarica, Olmec, Quechua, Lakota, Cherokee, all the ones that have galactic or celestial cultural traditions. And Wednesdays is Wellness Wednesday. We talk about different topics of health and wellness and sound healing astrology. On Thursdays, we talk about the practices of a Neterian, one who follows the Neteru, the cosmic forces of nature, aka the gods and goddesses. Eventually, we'll be studying or talking to people who practice the Orisha tradition, the Ife or Ifa, seeing how the connection between the Orisha, the gods and goddesses, like Yemaya, Oshun, Shango, and how they compare to the Neterian traditions of Asar, Aset, Heru, Sekhmet, etc. And so on Thursdays, we have chanting, music, we have readings of the wisdom teachings, Sometimes we do a yoga posture, just whatever is moving through me. I don't have I don't have anything prepared. It's just what comes through. It's kind of like my research project and my self-care practice, being consistent with that, and eventually working up to offering classes with the yoga posture, the meditation, the cosmic chimes and chanting, the astrology, sound healing, cosmic adoration, devotion to the Neteru, and spiral dance medicine wheel, where we honor the indigenous people of the four directions and activate this within us so that we can rise up and defeat Western imperialism. So today is about Neterian devotional practices. I hope that answered your question, Atep. And Nitra's in the house. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for the bracelets and the gifts. Good rising, great awakenings. Why do I still say good rising? Most people say grand rising. I still say good rising. I've been saying good rising since the 80s and 90s. Well, 90s. And it means God is good. So it means the gods and goddesses are rising, becoming gods and goddesses, activating the cosmic forces within us, leading to our great awakening. It's not about the sunrise or the sunset. It's about rising in consciousness and becoming a god or goddess, transforming ourselves into a Neteru. My objective is to become a cosmic force of sound and music and healing. And so then, yeah, thanks for tuning in. Thank you for tapping the screen. Sometimes I'll just put up the sign. I won't read the sign, but that's what this is about. So we always start off with some opening chants. And then I also talk about my music. This is a way for me to tell you about my music because I don't promote my music. Oh, Ucha, good rising, Constance, woo-woo. So this next song, or the first song, is Anpu, Opener of the Way. I learned this from Seba Ma, Dr. Mona Ashby. You can find the lyrics in their manual. It's Anpu, the Opener of the Way. And you can find that on your favorite music platform. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Remove obstacles to my success in my spiritual practice. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Lead souls through the narrow pathways to know the difference between real and unreal. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Messenger in heaven and hell. Face black as night, golden as a day. If we watch her by night is my day. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. May Anpu make my thoughts burn, so that I may stand upon them. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. I wash myself in the waters where Anpu washed himself, where he was the officer of embalmer and bandager. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. Oh, Anpu, opener of the ways. My lips are the lips of Anpu. 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 Yes, that means to me that when we speak, our words have the power to open the way and remove obstacles to our success in our spiritual practice, in our daily lives, in our finances. When you can't find your passport at the airport. Anpu is our discernment, and that's how we know the difference between the real and the unreal. So like I said, these Neteru are cosmic forces. They're not just, this one is just, see if I can quickly find the reading for Anpu, the description of Anpu. He always has them at the beginnings of his books. So I studied with Dr. Ashby for a little over a decade. I guess I better look in the index. Anpu is the brother of Haru, the son of Asar by way of Nebuchadnezzar. It's also known as Anubis. So we're going to look under Anubis, page 80. Okay, yeah, here we go. Doesn't have one. It's interesting how Anpu is kind of quote unquote the bastard child because his mom seduced the dad and was born out of wedlock. So he's not really considered a god or a god in some aspects. It's very important. Here we go, Anpu. Okay. So here's an image of Anpu. It's the deity with the dog mask. Discernment, and this is from the introduction to the Purdah Neteru by Dr. Maud Ashby. Discernment and discriminative knowledge of what is real and what is not real. Anpu is the son of Asar Nebuchadnezzar. He is the embalmer of the deceased, the spiritual aspirant, and symbolizes the guide to the initiate, the trained intellect of the aspirant, who is dead to the wisdom of divine reality and hopes to be resurrected to discover the divine reality. This implies the ability to discipline one's mind and body so as to not get caught up in the illusions or emotions of the mind. When the mind and its wave-like thought vibrations are under control, the way is open to spiritual realization in an atmosphere of peace and harmony. This peace and harmony do not necessarily imply an outer situation of calm. It does imply an inward peace, which comes from understanding the implications of the wisdom teachings. Anpu represents the dawn, when darkness turns to light. He watches over the balance, the scales in the hall of judgment of the Purdah Neteru with extreme diligence, and in the aspect of Apuat, he is the opener of the ways who leads souls to the Elysian fields in the great oasis. Therefore, his great quality of discriminative knowledge allows the aspirant to diligently watch the mind in order to promote thoughts which are divinely inspired. Shemsu Heru, follower of Heru, instead of those which are egoistic, Setian, or Set, egoism, and tending toward nature and its perils, life, death, pain, pleasure, etc. Anpu is the son of Nebuchadnezzar and Asar and is therefore a combination of gross nature or physicality, Nebuchadnezzar, and the spirit or the soul, Asar. I'm just going to read these. Oh, there's some more comments here. Oh, let's hear. Oh. Okay, Lola Bruja is saying she's sorry she missed the Anpu opener of the Way song. Good. Yes, Lola. Well, you can find the song by itself on your favorite music platform. I'm going to keep reading here because this is so powerful. It is Anpu who leads the souls to the abode of the Supreme Being in the Purdah Neteru by constantly urging them to awaken from the dream of the world process and its illusions. Thus, in this aspect, Anpu should be considered as the original angel of death. The reliefs and hieroglyphs of Anpu sitting atop the ark containing the inner parts of Asar are found at the entrance or purification area of the burial chamber, the chest or ark of the initiate. So they're talking about you're the initiate. In the Purdah Neteru, it is stated that Anpu appointed the seven spirits, the followers of their lord Sipa, to be protectors of the dead body of Asar. Sipa is the name of the chief of the seven spirits who guarded Asar, and seven is the number of spiritual energy centers in the subtle spiritual body, serpent power, kundalini. Aritus is the Neterian term, or chakras. And Sekhem is the kundalini. There are also seven cows of creation, which serve Asar as the bull of creation. Anpu is an aspect of Heru, and Heru is the higher self or royal personality, the one who is seeking enlightenment and has the strength to turn away from Set. Therefore, the true enlightener of the self as the self, the true enlightener of the self is the self. In this manner, it is your innermost self who is enlightening you through your desire to practice spiritual discipline. The struggle between Heru and Set is the struggle of every human being to control the mind with its erratic desires, longings, unfulfilled expectations, and disappointments. This is so true. Oh my goodness. This struggle is not avoidable by anyone who is not enlightened. Some people succumb under the weight of the lower self and its desires for fulfillment. Ugh. This is a pathetic condition which those people have allowed to develop due to their own indulgence in the sensual desires of the body, and also due to their ignorance of their true divine nature, which is buried deep within under the weight of the egoistic thoughts and unconscious ignorant feelings. Do say mama, do say pacha. Attack. Okay. Now, before reading from the Purdah Haru, other sacred texts, you're supposed to recite a couple of chants, and he has them suggested. He has them listed in the Purdah Haru, and I save those for my personal practice. When I'm going live, my guides, Asmat, she gave me this chant, which is for Nebuchadnezzar, Kepra, and Asar. So when you are we're at the temple space for the divine offerings, then we'll go through the whole thing. But now we'll just do this. Om Nebuchadnezzar Kepra Sarom. 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 Good job. I'll be honest, it's really hard singing that song without my heart. My beautiful sick free will was lost August 12, 2023. I'm looking forward to getting the next one. All right. Oh, Dua, Nitra. Okay, so this rising, I was not able to finish my chanting. I was doing 13 minutes. So I thought we could do the last 3 minutes together. Type the words in the chant here at YouTube. I don't know. Om Amun Ra Patah. And the translation of that is the one divine self manifesting as the witnessing consciousness, Amun, mind, which is Ra, because we create with our mind, and the physical universe, Patah. So it's a chant, for manifesting, basically, because you're going from the Amun, the witnessing consciousness, or the unseen divinity, and then you're creating with your mind, with your thoughts, And then Ptah is the actual manifestation of the creation or of your manifestation. So I'm gonna put on my little timer here, and it's not really a call and response. You're just gonna chant along with me, I hope. Let's do it for 3 minutes. And you can find the recording. It's on my Kimatones YouTube channel. For some reason, I haven't released it, and then it's gotten more views than any other piece of music. What that was? Any other video? I don't know what that was. Something fell. Okay, here we go. Om Amu Rapata. 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 Yeah, I really like going low as I can go. when I recorded this chant, it's on my YouTube channel. It was just kind of like a whim. I was just like, oh, let me just record this for 10 minutes on my, and you can hear the microphone brushing up against my shirt. So I put a ocean sound in the background, and I made a little video with the images and the translation, and it's gotten over 43,000 views. And I don't know why it's taking me this long. That was 6 years ago to go in and finish the actual recording and release it officially. And my mind is still blown that I've spent thousands of dollars going into the studio with engineers and musicians and everything, and nothing has gotten that type of response. I guess it's because it has the visuals, and I need to go back through all of my other songs and do the same thing. And I don't know what's stopping me from that. I really don't have an answer for that. Anyway, how did you like that? For those of you that participated, what I was going to say was, when I was recording it, I was working to. Oh, great! Thank you. I was working to connect with my divine masculine, because I've been working so much on my divine feminine. Getting to know the goddess. But I felt like my divine masculine was weak. It's weak. It's not standing up. It's not speaking up. It wasn't. It was just observing. Just numb. And so I said, well, let me just tune into that. And when people heard it, they thought those were men's voices. And somebody thought that it was like an entire choir of male singers. It's like, well, I guess I succeeded. Let's see what we've got here. It was amazing. Love the energy. I procrastinate so much too. It was healing. Thank you, Monarch Omega. I can't read the last word. Vanessa Monarch. That reminds me of one of the lines from the Tough Neteru Sima Pout reflective movement meditation that adapted into the Akusaneb system, which is going to be starting soon online. Let's just do that. The Monarch. Okay, I'm moving all over the place. So I want to go back and read about the Neteru that we just did. This is the Asar posture. I'm not centered, I'm realizing. Okay, so you're going to put your right arm across your left, over to your left chest, over your heart. Forgot to say inhale. Inhale. Exhale. Nuk Asar. I am Asar. I am the Jed pillar of Asar. I'm the symbol of steadfastness and stability. I hold the crook and the crook of leadership and the flail of discipline. I stand tall and erect. I'm the monarch of my life on earth and beyond. Look, Asar, I am Asar. Now exhale and release. And now put your left hand over the right chest. Nook Jetty, say Jetty. You can repeat. Nook Jetty, say Jetty. I'm out in Neteru, Messiah Neteru. I'm out in Neteru, Messiah Neteru. Nook Jetty, say Jetty. Nook Jetty, say Jetty. I'm out in Neteru, Messiah Neteru. I'm out in Neteru, Messiah Neteru. Inhale, exhale, and release your arms. And that translates to, I am the Jed pillar of Asar. I was born in steadfastness. I am steadfastness. I am the child of steadfastness and stability. When you said monarch, it reminded me of monarch of my life on earth and beyond. Alrighty, let's see, what time does the clock say it is? All right, perfect. Okay. So, so there we just had several ways that we can become closer to the Neters by chanting or singing and music, reading about the Neters, studying about the Neters, and then moving like the Neters, assuming their poses and postures, and learning more about them. So I wanted to do a little bit more reading about some of the Neters that we were talking about or singing about. A moon is a really good one. There's a description of a moon here. And again, this is from the book Purdon Haru, but he has a similar introduction in all of his books where he talks about the Neters and moon. Okay, so that would be around page 82 or 79. Here we go. Amun, that's on page 82. Amun, the self, as the hidden essence of all things. The sun, or Ra, is the radiant and dynamic outward appearance of the hidden made manifest, and also the light of cosmic consciousness, the cosmic mind, or that through which consciousness projects. In this aspect, Ptah represents the physical world, the solidification or compilation of the projection of consciousness, Amun, made manifest. And we did Om Amun Ptah. Oh, Dua, thank you very much. These manifestations are reproduced symbolically on earth in the cities of Kemet, Egypt, Anu, city of Ra, Waset, city of Amun, and Ptah, city of Ptah. Waset, or Nut, was known to the Greeks as Thebes, who knew it as Diospolis, the heavenly city. Thebes is the city identified in the Old Testament as No city, No Amun, city of Amun. And let's see, here's some images of Amun with the dual feather headdress. Oh, sorry, backwards this side. Right, backwards again. Okay, it has Amun and Ptah on there. Okay. Amun as the ram-headed man and a man with double plumed crown. So at the so Amun is also associated with Aries. In fact, the Neterian name for the constellation of Aries is Tamet Amun. Whoa! Dua Nefer Hatep. In the form of Amun Ra, the evolution of the concept of the divine takes on the emphasis of the subtle and hidden qualities of divine consciousness. This teaching found its greatest expression in the city of Waset, called Thebes by the ancient Greeks. As a ram-headed man, the iconography emphasizes the quality of the ram, virility, leadership, and the astrological period of the ram as it relates to the great ancient Kemetic year. The human-headed form emphasizes all-encompassing, non-dual divinity, as symbolized by the double plumes, Aset and Neferhet, uniting in one being. Oh my goodness. The concept of Amun is the central theme of not only ancient Kemetic religion and mystical philosophy, but also of every world religion and of modern physics as well. The idea of Amun has been mythologized by sages in such a fashion that the study of myth reveals increasingly more profound layers of the mystery of life. The outer layers are shed through intuitive understanding of the philosophical ideas and teachings, revealing the core wherein lies discovery of the true essence of mystical religious philosophies. So Bama teaches us that what distinguishes a Neterian practice from other world religions is that there's three levels. There's this, the myth, the ritual, and the mystical experience. And most religions only take you to two, the myth and the ritual, and the mysticism is reserved for the priests and priestesses. But in the Neterian traditions, we are instructed to become a god or goddess, to transform ourselves into our higher selves. And that is what separates a Neterian practice from other ones. And my journey is, or one of my goals is to activate the mysticism in ancient teachings of Tamerica. For example, the Olmec, the Maya, the Quechua, the Lakota has Star Nation, and these are the ones I'm most familiar with, and the Cherokee. And then from there, I will go on to the other traditions that I don't know about, with the comparative analysis to the Neterian practice. Just one more paragraph. The name Amun appears in the remotest times of Kemetic history and came to prominence in the ancient city of Waset, Kemet. The mysteries of Amun represent a quintessence of ancient Egyptian philosophy concerning the nature of the unmanifest aspect of all existence and the understanding of human consciousness. This teaching speaks of God, Nebuchadnezzar, as an unmanifest, nameless, formless being of light, which is the source of all that is manifest. The formless being of light later became known as the watery abyss and Amun. In the Shabaka inscription, this teaching was exposed with Ptah assuming the role of the manifestation of the unmanifest self, and from him emanates the Neteru in the form of an Ogdoad 8 of Neteru. Dua, Sebuma, Dua, Sepicha, Hachep. Another thing about Amun is people in the one of the major religions of Western imperialism, they make a prayer to Amun at the almost end of every one of their prayers. It's Amun, Amin, Amen, and they're not even aware of it. Amun is, they say, is the oldest deity that was worshipped and honored in this way. That's it. Alrighty. What else have we got? I wanted to talk about this panel behind me. Oh, Dua Hatep, thank you so much, Monarch Omega Vanessa. And this panel behind me, I see, what temple was this at? This was, I want to say, Karnak or Luxor. I don't remember, to be honest with you. But it caught my eye because what does this symbol look like? It looks like the Wi-Fi symbol. I was like, wait a minute, what? And so at first, my tour guide said it was a symbol for myrrh. He was making an offering of myrrh. And then later he said it was deer bones. I don't know, but I really liked it because he's making an offering. And it looks like the Wi-Fi symbol. And my Kemetic name is Arit Neter S Mary Maati. And that translates to she who makes musical offerings to her tutelary divinity, beloved by the dual goddesses of Ma'at. So anytime I wanted to do a study of all the different offerings that are made. That would take a whole lifetime. Master of the Net. Yes, Master of the Net. Ooh, I like that. Especially now that everything is online now. Well, not everything, but so much is online. Okay. All right, so that was kind of like introduction. Then I usually just pick a book at random from my library. I'm not a thought about musical offerings. Oh, yes. I am a chantress, which is a musical priestess who sings and chants. And a musician is the term for a chantress is Haset, Hekau, chanting sacred words of power. And Shemayet is a priestess, or Shemayim is music, male or female priestess who makes musical offerings. So this is Asmataji Temple of Divine Light, Healing, and Sweet Sounds. And I make musical offerings and sound healing offerings. The musical offerings are always based on wisdom teachings. Even before I knew I was a priestess, I have 4 or 5 reggae albums, and it's all wisdom teachings of the indigenous people of the 4 directions. Well, I never really got into the European yet. I do have that song "Wonderful World," which was written by Europeans but made famous by Louis Armstrong, and that's the only one that I have by people of the North. But I am planning to get into that. But now I've on this whole process of the comedic devotion. My goal is to put all the chapters of the Neteru to music so that you can learn them, because we're supposed to read from the Neteru not only when we're dead or dying or at a memorial, but in our lives, because we're spiritually dead when we're just in materialism, and these teachings help wake you up and give you strength while you're on your spiritual journey. Well, let me just choose one from here. I just read from the introduction, so it's just like I just flip through the pages. Oh, this is one of my favorite. I already have a song for this one. Chapter 19. Oh, where is it? It's backwards. Chapter 19, the Tree of Life. How fitting. Can you see it? Yeah. Oh, Goddess Nut is the Tree of Life. Goddess Nut is the Milky Way. And if you study with us on Tuesdays, we're learning how the Olmec and the Quechua and other indigenous cultures are actually galactic cultures. And the Mayu is the river of life. The Maya, to the Quechua, the Olmec Maya refer to the Milky Way as the tree of life. And so do they in Kemet, right? So I'll read chapter 19, and then I'll read the gloss, and then I'll offer the songs for chapter 19. The chapter of the tree of life, breathing air and possessing water in the Duat, chapter 19. The tree of life is the symbol of the goddess. Through it, she nourishes all life, and in particular, she provides spiritual strength to the aspirant for success in their spiritual journey. And so whenever you're reading from the Neteru and you hear Asar and I go like this or like this, you put in your name, because you are the Asar. You are the hero of your own myth. And you're supposed to you're supposed to identify as the cosmic forces. You're not just reading about them, you're reading about you. You're reading about your spiritual journey. Words to be spoken by Asar, Arit, Makaru, which is mean true of speech. Hail to the great river in the heavens, right? I just said the Quechua call it the great river, and the Olmec Maya call it the great tree, the tree of life, and in Kemet is referred to the great river and the tree of life. You can't tell me there's not a coincidence. There's not a connection. You just can't. I'm no longer accepting that. Grant thee power over the water to Asar, Arit, Makaru, like Sekhmet, who protected Asar against the violence on the night and day of slayings. Lead Asar, Arit, Makaru to the abode where there is an abundance of water, just as you led those other honorable persons who were slain and became a noble blessed souls, knowing not they the name of he who led him. Asar, Arit, Makaru is opening up in Jed, and we just did the Jed pillar, right? Asar, Arit, Makaru's nostrils are opening up in Jedu, in Hetep, the dwelling place in Anu, the house that was constructed by Sesheta, on which Khnum is standing. If there is a north wind blowing, sit on the south side. If there is a south wind blowing, sit on the north side. If there is a west wind blowing, sit on the east side. And if there is an east wind blowing, sit on the west side. Lowering the eyebrows on the nostrils, Asar, Arit, Makaru enters into all places desired and resides therein. Attack. Okay, there's a lot to read here. I'm just going to go ahead and read the gloss because that's not so long. In this chapter, the vignette is of special importance. It shows the goddess Nut in the form of a tree of life. In her form as the tree of life, the goddess is the source of food and drink, mystically referred to as breathing the air, which sustains life. And they're talking about life in the netherworld and eternity and on earth. The vignette above comes from the papyrus of Ani. It is transmitted to human beings. The goddess bestows food and drink to the aspirant. Other subtle implications of this vignette are the references in the text accompanying it to the food and drink as being the breath which sustains life, i.e. the life force energy. Further, the fact that the aspirant obtains these directly from the goddess who is in the tree suggests that the best food is obtained by a direct contact with the goddess, that is, by picking fresh vegetables and fruits from plants directly. This chapter is also an indication that the food and drink obtained from the tree may bring strength and power to resist the slaying of the personality. This point was alluded to also in chapter 16, where the initiate discovers protection from the chopping block. The idea, this so resonates with the reading from Tuesday. I'm getting chills. The idea is that this special food of the goddess leads to spiritual strength and enlightenment. It is actually referred to as the air, which when breathed allows one to become a blessed soul to reside in peace in Anu, the first and foremost city. The last line in the chapter holds the key to how this divine food is to be obtained. The instruction is given to lower the eyebrows onto the nostrils. This is the classic instruction given to every practitioner of meditation. It means to concentrate on one point while at the same time watching the breath. This practice is also augmented by the repetition of hekau, mantras, words of power, as chants. Using the words from this chapter can be an especially powerful means to practice concentration and meditation. If this practice is understood and implemented properly, it will lead to the expansion of consciousness and the opening up of all the secrets of existence, and in so revealing the meditation, and in so revealing, the meditator discovers her essence there as the divine self. Okay, so I have 2 chants for chapter 19. Oh, love, what book is that? Okay, this is The Pert and Haru by Dr. Muada Ashby, not by Wallace Budge. Dr. Muada Ashby's works, you can find his website at egyptianyoga.com. And his interpretation of all the teachings is to lead you to enlightenment, not just to know the history, not just to know the hieroglyphs, not just to be able to read the hieroglyphs, not just to, say you're this or that, but to lead you to enlightenment, and so that you can help lead others to enlightenment. And I would have to say that it worked on me. I'm not saying I'm the most enlightened being in the world, but I have attained some level, some sense of enlightenment thanks to intense studies with them, one-on-one studies, group studies, conferences, classes, workshops. They have it all there, egyptianyoga.com. If you're at all intrigued by anything I'm saying today or in any of my programs, I recommend you to just go check them out. Their books are the real deal. The real deal. Okay, so let me get the let's see if I can find it quickly. I was looking for this the other day. Finished putting my space back together. Find it. I'll be right there. I haven't finished putting my space back together, so it's hard to find things quickly. Right now, I don't see here. Okay, let's do it from memory, I guess. Oh, wait. Oh, I just made a big mess. Okay. Yeah, like I was saying, I haven't put everything back together since I was doing the renovations. And I have not since the temple space was all torn up, I have not been consistent with my practice the way I like to. I've been doing the bare minimums. So I want to make sure I have the right lyrics. I recorded the song with a band and it didn't get released. Of course, I don't. Oh man, these are really old songs. Okay, I'm looking one more book. If it's not here, I'm just gonna have to do my best. It's gotta be in here. You can see all my notes. What? Yep, I don't see it. Maybe it's already out. The one thing I'm looking for is the one thing I cannot find. I can't tell you how many times that happens. Okay, I'm pretty sure I know it by heart. Okay. Nice. Look, I hope I didn't break anything. Oh my goodness. Oh, here. That is so crazy. The one thing I'm looking for, the one thing I don't have. Story of my life. Okay. All right. And this is not the usual instrument I have for this chant, so I don't know how it's going to sound. I got this at the outside of the temple of Neteru, the temple at Edfu. Nukpu nuksu shetan. Nukpu nuk nuk. Nukpu nuksu shetan. Nukpu nuk nuk. I am the goddess of math and sciences. I am the cosmic scribe. Keep things in celestial order. I can help you keep order in your life. I wear the sacred papyrus on my head. I built the house of the Tsar. To Jehoti I gave the Neteru nectar. I am the goddess of the Sephic Bara. Nukpu nuksu shetan. Nukpu nuk nuk. Nukpu nuksu shetan. Nukpu nuk nuk. The stars make up my body. I am the jeweled night sky. I'm in love with your Father Earth. I gave birth to the light. I forgot the last verse. Nupunuk susheta. Nupunuk nu. Nupunuk susheta. Nupunuk nu. That's why I was trying to find the lyric because I knew I was going to get that next verse. Anyway, all right. And the other chant I have for that chapter. Dua sar, dua sekne, dua sesheta, dua tenu, dua sar, dua sekne, dua sesheta, dua tenu, Nupu Atar, Nupu Teknet, Nupu Tasheta, Nupu Tenu, Nupu Atar, Nupu Teknet, Nupu Tasheta, Nupu Tenu. I love that chant because, as you know, I have this wonderful building here, and it's going through a process of transformation with renovations and painting and fixing electrical work and all that. And so I offer that chant quite a bit when I'm feeling a certain way about the whole process. I'm like, ah! All right. I hope you enjoyed those chants. I apologize. I cannot remember the final verse about Nut. I'll have to get all my lyrics together and start singing these songs again. It's been a couple of months. I kind of took a break to finish working on two of my books. The first book is the Hesiu Neteru, the frequencies of the gods and goddesses. Thank you so much. Thank you, Monarch Omega Vanessa. The Hesiu Neteru, which is like a sound healing manual with all the different frequencies and the corresponding Neteru that go along with them, which is leading up to the meditation practice, Hesiu Neteru, when we go through the Aritus, the solfeggio frequencies, and the ideal solids. It was revealed to me after the Green Flash Sunrise on October 17th, 2022, which was a huge opening and breakthrough for me. And the other book is the Aku Seneb Reflective Movement Meditation Manual. I'm going to start teaching I've been teaching in person. I'm going to open up to the online temple subscriptions in December. Okay, so I did all that. I didn't get to go to one of Ashby's great translations. So like I said, I'm just going to randomly choose one of his wonderful, it's not so random. The Book of Proverbs. That's the one. I just found it the other day. I thought I had lost it. So I'm going to read a few Proverbs, and then we'll end up with the reading from Professor Hilton Lieutenant. This is kind of like my little schedule. I'm just going to randomly open to a page. Let's choose a page. I'm going to read some of these great Kemetic Proverbs that Ashby found and translated. On simplicity. The nature of the body is to take delight and pleasure in complexity. The way of truth is that of simplicity. One more time. The nature of the body is to take delight and pleasure in complexity. The way of truth is that of simplicity. Complexity is the decadence of society. Simplicity is the path of reality and salvation. Complexity is the decadence of society. Simplicity is the path of reality and salvation. On past lives. The race is never taught, but when God willeth it, its memory is restored by the Creator. You will see within yourself the simple vision brought to birth by the compassion of God. No one can be saved before rebirth. One more time. The race is never taught, but when God willeth it, its memory is restored by the Creator. You will see within yourself the simple vision brought to birth by the compassion of God. No one can be saved before rebirth. So Dr. Ashby teaches us that the objective of life is to live in such a way that you do not need to reincarnate. That if you live your life in alignment with Ma'at, and purifying your REU. REU is similar to karma, but REU is thoughts, words, actions, feelings. Karma is mostly like what you do unto others will come back to you, but this is like what you think will come back to you because it can manifest. Or the words that you speak can come back to you. You must only think and speak what you want to manifest because it's all a projection. Seba taught me that we actually have three minds. Backwards, we have the mind that resides in our brain, which is where the ego resides. It's the one that says, oh, it's cold, I better turn on the heat, or I'm hungry, I better fix something to eat, or I need to like your practical reality. And if you allow your ego to rule you, then it'll just keep you on like a hamster wheel, just perpetually dealing with the material realm and not wanting anything to change. It's trying to keep you safe and just where you are. And so we have to break free of the ego mind and open up to our infinite mind, which is projecting our current reality. Our infinite mind is projecting this very moment, and it's based on our thoughts and words and actions in the past moment or past lives. And when we access our infinite mind that we use to project, when we connect, it's filled by the cosmic mind of creation, or Jehuti. So we have three minds to keep up with. And we have to break free of this mind because this will just keep us coming back. It doesn't want to learn the lessons. It doesn't want to change. It doesn't want to grow. But we're here to purify our REU. In other traditions, it's called polishing the mirror. It's a reflection of your life so that you see a beautiful reflection, so that you don't have to come back, by doing selfless service and helping people find their enlightenment, or whatever you're called to do. It's to clean up your REU from the past, and then say that adversity exists so that we'll turn to the divine and then enable us to clean up our REU so that we just go to the West and we reside in eternity. They know themselves, they know themselves, they know the cosmos as well. That's why the work that I'm doing with Tamarican culture and other galactic Sirius cultures is if we start with the cosmos, then we're already connected. We're starting with the cosmos. We're not starting with the War of 1812, or we're not starting with this reservation, and we're not starting with the battles that took place like 4,000 years ago, and who was the pharaoh, and which was first, Kemet or Anunnaki, or the Orishas, or the Dogons, or the Olmecs. It's not about who was first. It's about, let's connect over nature. Let's start with our cosmology as the foundation of our sharing our knowledge and wisdom. To God, and I don't like to use the term God. That makes sense. Well, thank you very much. I don't like to use the word God because that's Greek and it has like a whole different vibration. And they advised me not to use the word Nebuchadnezzar because that is like a very special word and it's not to be used lightly. So I'm just going to say to the higher self for now until I have a better term. To the universal self. I'll do that. To the universal self. Universal soul. To the universal soul, knowledge is no beginning. Rather, knowledge doth afford to us the first beginning of its being known. Oh, I might have to say that one 3 times. To the universal soul, knowledge is no beginning. Rather, knowledge doth afford to us the first beginning of its being known. I suppose what that means to me is knowledge is the beginning of knowing the divine. I'll just say the divine. To the divine, knowledge is no beginning. Rather, knowledge doth afford for us the first beginning of its being known. Knowing the divine, right? Okay. I got that time. True knowledge comes from the upward path, which leads to the eternal fire. Error, defeat, and death result from following the lower path of worldly attachment. True knowledge comes from the upward path, which leads to the eternal fire. Error, defeat, and death result from following the lower path. He whose face is half black and half gold can lead you upward. And whose face is that? Whose face is black as night, golden as the day. That's Anpu. We started off with that chant. So Anpu can lead you upward by representing discernment, knowing the difference between real and unreal, opening the ways. It's beautiful how things come together. I would not have planned this program the way it came. So that was awesome. Dua to the Neteru. I'm so glad I found the book of Proverbs. Okay, and then we close with where did you go? Here we go. Okay, so this was my very first book series teacher. I never met him in person. He was passed away before I found his books. Professor Hilton Otema. Oh, sorry. Professor Hilton Otema, who realized that even though he appeared to be a European, he had been a Kemetic priest in his past life. And when I was first reading his book series, I had not known anything about Kemet. And so when I read it, a lot of it went over my head. I didn't understand. And now I'm reading it again after I studied for like all these years. And it's kind of fun, because now I know the secret code. And it gives me the language that's useful when talking to people who are still spiritually enslaved by Western imperialism. However, I did not mark off where I left off, which is not good. Okay, so I believe it was here. I think I read those 2 pages. Okay. And if I'm rereading what I already read, I apologize. And the next chapter is the resurrection. Okay. The creative cycle moves from the invisible to the visible and vice versa. A common example, and this is from the chapter on death and rebirth, or there is no death. No death. The creative cycle moves from the invisible to the visible and vice versa. A common example of this process is water. As invisible vapor, it floats in the air. When cold lowers its vibratory rate, it condenses and becomes visible as water, a compound of invisible gases. A still lower temperature transforms water into ice. Raising the temperature reverses the process. The ice becomes water and then vapor and returns to the invisible realm called the kingdom of heaven. That creative cycle is universal and common to all things, but it becomes more complex in understanding and explanation as we advance in the scale of natural phenomena. Passing from water, the simple form, to man, the most complex, we find the same creative process in operation, but the explanation is more complicated. In their search for the secret of the future life thousands of years ago, it was analyzed and solved then by the ancient masters of ancient Kemet. When I look up, that's my own commentary. When invisible vapor becomes visible as water, that is birth into the visible realm. When water changes to invisible vapor and returns to the invisible or rich spiritual realm, it is born again and enters into the kingdom of heaven. That is the secret change, quote unquote, to which the masters referred, quote unquote. If a man die, shall he live again? All the days of my appointed time will I wait till my chance comes. Job 14:14. There is no death. We shall not sleep in death, but we shall all be changed to immortality, said the masters. I think I did read this page last time. I Corinthians 13:15-51. And so death is swallowed up in victory. O death, where is thy sting? O grave, where is thy victory? Corinthians 15:54-55. Then the scheming priest who helped to compile the New Testament added this illogical passage. The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Okay, no, I did not read that. So did you hear that? That a scheming priest added that line in there to confuse everyone. The sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. I Corinthians 15:56. Those empty words mean nothing. The masters explained that when the celestial body enters the terrestrial body called man, he is born into the visible realm of the kingdom of heaven. The visible realm of the kingdom of heaven. Of that event, we think nothing unusual because it is so common and so well understood. This is reminding me of Om Amun Ra Ptah. But the deceived and misled multitude little knows that when man's terrestrial body dissolves, dies, and the spirit leaves that physical envelope, man is in truth born again to begin a new existence, and he enters into that vast, invisible realm termed the kingdom of heaven, a mere figure of speech invented for the purpose of deception. For as the whole universe, both the visible and the invisible realms, are in fact the kingdom of heaven, man is never not of it, even though he may so think in his ignorance. That mysterious change, quote unquote, air quotes, from the visible to the invisible state in the twinkling of an eye was well explained by that great hierophant Apollonius called Paul in the Bible. Yet the simplicity of the truth, and we had the reading about Apollonius a couple weeks ago. Apollonius of Tyana, they say, is who the legend of Jesus Christ is modeled after his actual life. Yet the simplicity of the truth of his teachings has been destroyed by the distorted manner in which the blind leaders of the blind, the three major religions of Western imperialism, have handled it. The religious philosophy of the masters was based on that natural science of the universe. Remember, the word nature comes from Neters, the Neteru, the Neterian Practice, the cosmic forces of nature, which includes both the visible, physical, and invisible spiritual worlds, Aset and Nebuchadnezzar and Aset. They considered man as a dual being, composed of spiritual force and physical substance, I Corinthians 15:44. Their philosophy was founded upon all the facts in all the departments of nature, omitting none. The facts of nature and the principles of truth, ma'at, are changeless, but the flimsy theories of modern scientists change with the seasons. What they proclaim as truth today, they reject tomorrow as error. The eternal truth of the immortality of man remains changeless throughout the centuries. It was a matter of common knowledge with the ancient masters, who are now termed pagans and heathens by the modern world. The best way to discredit ancient wisdom is to degrade its developers. The certainty of apparent physical death is patent to all, but few there are today who know the mysterious secret of exactly what happens when that dreaded event occurs, dreaded only because of the ignorance and false teaching surrounding it. Okay, I'm going to finish this page. In the ancient mysteries, the neophyte, the aspirant, was taught the carefully guided secret that there is no dying, no death, no extinction of the real man, Anpu discernment between the real and the unreal. There is only a transition, a change. In the twinkling of an eye, we shall be changed. We shall all be changed. And thus is destroyed the last enemy termed death, I Corinthians 15:26, which has no existence except in the ego mindset. The words die and death were used symbolically in the mysteries to describe the descent of the spirit into the physical with substance. And so the body was allegorically the sepulture of the soul. Okay, now that's interesting because in the Neterian tradition, the spirit or the soul, Asar, had to unite with Nebuchadnezzar, the physicality, and their product was Anpu, discernment. The soul, that's why Nebuchadnezzar had to seduce Asar, so that the soul and the physicality could have a connection, because up until then it was just Aset and Asar, the soul and spirituality. The master said, in a spiritual sense, the soul, quote unquote, dies or sleeps upon entering the body in incarnation. And of course, when Nebuchadnezzar was able to seduce Asar, he was drunk. He was in a drunken state from being at that party. And that's how he was asleep. And that's how the physicality was able to seduce the soul. And then Set, the ego, was able to attempt to destroy the soul. During its days in the physical temple, Corinthians 3:16, the soul was considered as sleeping, dead in the body. This was termed falling asleep in Hades. The master said, the soul is now dwelling in the grave, which we call the body. It is dead so far it is possible for the soul to die. This is the esoteric interpretation of that allegoric imagery, the confusion of which with the fact of bodily demise has been a puzzle to the modern world since the destruction of the ancient wisdom in the 4th century AD. What happened in the 4th century AD? The Council of Nicene, where the church mafia went around and executed anyone, all the leaders that would not accept Christianity, then went and murdered all the people there. That I'm talking about happened in Europe first, and then they went everywhere else and did the same thing. 354 AD, the Nicene Council. Men were led astray by Men were led astray by imputing to words erroneous meanings. Okay, so I will mark this page and we will finish this chapter next session. Okay, so I really appreciate you all being here today. I hope you've enjoyed this presentation. I see some of you are still on here with me. And for those of you who are tuning in towards the end, you can always catch the replay at my YouTube channel, the Music of Arit Tachia Ahmet music channel at YouTube. Thank you so much for tuning in. Like I said, for those of you that just tuned in, I was reading from the book The Cosmic Science of the Ancient Masters by Professor Hilton Otema. He was like my first spiritual book teacher. I read all of his books, and unfortunately my library was stolen when I moved to Chicago. So I lost a lot of books. I found this another version or another reprint of the version at a bookstore a few years ago. And I hadn't really looked at it in like 35 years until I started doing this program. And I like to close with it because he talks about the Kemetic wisdom, but like in code, you have to know what he's talking about. Like I was interjecting what I've learned from the past 12 years of studying this. So he has a wonderful book, Mystery Man of the Bible, where he talks about Apollonius of Tyana, the person whose life, the life of Jesus Christ was formulated upon, because Jesus is a mythological character, and they came up with during the Nicene Council of 354. Is it 354 or 434? I'm getting the numbers mixed up. It's around that time when they had their mafia session, invited the leaders of the pagan, the Aboriginal, indigenous, European traditional spiritual cultures, hoping to turn witches and warlocks and wizards, but they were holding down the Aboriginal teachings. That's the spirit spiral dance medicine wheel. So they invited them to this council, the Nicene Council, and said, "Hey, we've got this new religion. We've got this cool groupie guy named Jesus, and he's just like the avatars in your religion. So, and when we have our holidays that close to the solstices and the equinoxes, and you're already having feasts and celebrations at these times, so it won't be that much of a jump from what you're already doing to this one. And what do you say?" And they're like, "No way, dead." And then someone said, "Oh, okay." And and then they went back to their villages, and their villagers said, "No way, I'm not accepting this." So then they executed all the villagers. But the leader who accepted it, they do the same thing everywhere. The one who signed the treaties said they accepted it. He gets, a kickback. And then they just killed the people who said they won't go along with it. So anyway, I like reading his books because it reminds me of where I was like 40 years ago and how far I've come with my spiritual practice. And then he brings out little subtle nuances that I may have missed, and it's just really awesome. Wow, wait, when we get to chapter 14, that's going to be a doozy, huh? Wait, see, that's a cool diagram. The sign of perfection. No, the son of perfection. Yeah. Okay. So this was a really good session. We did some chanting. We did some singing. You chanted with me. I couldn't hear you. We did yoga posture. We read about some of the Neteru. We read from the Purdamaru. We read some proverbs, and we read from Professor Notema. So I would say this was a good session. Does anyone have any questions? Let's search for more comments. Okay, thanks. And we're here every Thursday from 8 to 9:30 a.m. for Neterian devotion. This is an aspect of Good Rising TV. On Tuesday, we have American Tuesdays, where we're studying the correspondences between Kemet and Tameri. Tameri is the Neterian term for North, Central, and South America. As you can see, I have on a dress from Egypt, Kemet, right? And I have on my beautiful sweater from Peru. According to Horace Butler, Peru is Heru. And then I have this hat, I think it's also from Peru. I got it on Inca style or Quechua. Oops. I like it because, it covers your ears. I mean, this is where, Americans have taken this hat and got the ear coverings and everything. But anyway, so this is my outfit represents what I'm about, is bringing out the connections between Tamerican culture and Kemetic culture, seeing how it's Neterian culture. And then the Kemetic culture, as brought forth by Seba Ma, it specifically leads you to enlightenment. We go over, I didn't read from it this time. The goddess Aset in this book, she leaves specific instructions to follow to transform yourself into a god or goddess. And all you have to do is follow her instructions. And Dr. Ashby's translation, what does it say here? A new original translation of the ancient Kemetic hieroglyphic text of Aset and Ra scripture, detailing the mysticism path for ordinary human beings to attain the goal of life, nihas, spiritual enlightening, and becoming one with the divine. It's right there. And they teach a class, the myth of Ra and Aset. And if you have the opportunity, you should definitely study. And we studied a little bit here. This is like an introduction to all of that. I'm just like, hey, read this book, or hey, this passage. Okay, and then I will be back again for more teachings and healings. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I really do. Appreciate love you. And so Tuesdays, we have American Tuesdays. Wednesdays, Wellness Wednesdays. We start with astrology, reading of the day, and then talk about frequencies. And then I do a little sound healing presentation, either with the chimes or self-care. And then we talk about just different herbs or just any topic in health and wellness and healing. And I like to do a reading about the Bach flower remedies, which is a healing practice. This guy from England went to Africa and he observed the African healers and noticed that they take a container of pure water and place it next to a flower. The flower will transfer its essence into the water and then use that for healing. It's called soul healing, healing soul issues like broken heart or abandonment or grief or lack of confidence, things like that. Like it gets you at the deep level. So we usually go over that on Wellness Wednesdays, and then Neterian Thursdays, just sharing different aspects of having a Neterian spiritual practice. We could do just readings all day, music all day. There's no definite, it's not always the same. You just never know what the Neteru are going to be transmitting through me. Here's a diagram I wanted to show you that came to me during the green flash sunrise. It looks like a megaphone, right? Dual megaphone. But this is actually an illustration of our location on Earth, right? And in the plane of the Milky Way galaxy. And when you look in one direction, this side, what is this side again? The sacred hoop, which is the constellations of Orion, Gemini, and the Great Dog, or the star Sirius, is called the sacred hoop in the Lakota tradition of Asar, Jehuti, and Aset is the sacred hoop. And then when you look to the other side, you're looking towards the center of the Milky Way, and if you're looking at directly at Ophiuchus, which is the constellation at the center of the Milky Way galaxy, and Ophiuchus is the 13th constellation along the ecliptic and the only constellation that represents the life of an actual human. And which human is that? Imhotep. So there's a constellation for natural health and healing. And it also has Sagittarius on one side, which is Asar, and Scorpio on the other side, which is Selket. And in the 13-month sidereal system, the month of Selket, or Ip is the name of the constellation, is only 7 days long. And tomorrow, the 23rd, is the strength. I don't like to say week. The strength of Scorpio, sidereal Scorpio, Ip, or Selket. It lasts 7 days. And then on November 30th begins the month of Ophiuchus, which is about 18 days. And time moves forward 1 day every 70 years. So it's possible that it's shifted to December 1st to December 19th. But I've got to do some more research. I saw mine at November 30th to December 18th. And so yesterday it was revealed to me that I'm going to start the online Akuseneb temple membership during Ophiuchus, to herald in this new time of health and wellness and healing. And this is my personal healing journey. This is the shift from survivor to thriver. That's what this is about, this temple membership and even the temple paperwork. Survivor to thriver. That's where we are with it. The hero of our myths, spiritual victory, winning the battle against our egoism or set, defeating Western imperialism in our lives. If we can each do it in our life, then the whole world will be empowered to do that. Like they say, when you heal yourself, you're healing the world. So that's the reason for Good Rising TV, awakening the gods and goddesses, activating the cosmic forces within us, leading us to this great global awakening in ourselves and in one another. Okay. So if you like the music that I was sharing today, some of it is available at your favorite music platform like Spotify. I know DistroKid took me down, and I'm going to be moving back to CD Baby. So 2 of my albums aren't up there right now, but they will be. And then songs that I've offered that aren't available there, you could find them at my Bandcamp page, Tachia Ahmet. Those are the ones that haven't been released. And my objective is to release the Amun album by the end of 2024, maybe serious culmination, December 31st. That's my objective. So wish me good fortune on that. And again, thank you for being here today. I'll be back Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central, 8 to 9:30 a.m. If you're just tuning in, you can catch the replay at my Chichia music channel. And I may be back with a random live stream for something else that came up. And that's all for today. Dua Hatep. Thank you, Constance Woo Woo and Lola Bruja. I will see you soon. And Brother Patrick, I don't know if you watched the replays to the end. I have not forgotten the report on the second moon, which is an asteroid. Right now, I'm just trying to see where is it located. I haven't found that information. I've learned, I know it's going away on the 27th, and it's very small. You can only see with the telescope. But I think if we knew what constellation it was in, that would help us. Okay, Dua Hatep. Dua Hatep, thank you for the love. Thank you so much for being here. I appreciate love you so much. Hatep. Uh-oh, wait. Uh-oh. Is it still there? Okay, yeah, I don't know how to turn it off. Thank you. There we go. All right. Oh. Oh, well, thank you. Oh, it's still on. Sorry.